Hi guys, how are you? Molly here, Masters in Clinical Nutrition, YouTube channel Molly Knows. Normally I'm always cooking something or talking about food, but my channel is also all about me, all right? And I want to talk about something different today. I want to talk about grief. I want to talk about trauma and how I'm getting through. I think it's different for everybody. There's no set, way to view grief, to think about it, to go through it, to process it. I guess it's heavy on my mind because it's like cold outside, and then my mother's birthday was just yesterday, and I'm always like, she's always on my thoughts, but definitely, she was yesterday. So pretty much I am a widow. I am a widow as of almost 6 months. December 24th will be my 6-month mark without my husband. I was married since 2012. We were together since 2008. A long time. So crazy, right? Like life and, your journey. It was like a regular day, right? It was my son's pool party. And we woke up and we were getting ready for it. We had breakfast. We were like scrambling around. We had to go pick up balloons. And then we had to, like pack the coolers and get everybody in their bathing suits and sunscreen. And, he woke up like regular. And then, of course, like they were having like a dance party. They were in their bathing suits and they were having a dance party to try and kill time before the party. And then he started to feel like a little strange. I don't want to get like too much into it, but just know that after the dance party, something that was very fun, something that was very basic, that we like always do, that's when it happened. And of course, I called 911 and I tried to do everything that I knew to do. And he ended up passing away at the hospital, which I found out later, so that's what has been going on in my life. I'm 42 and, I have 2 children. I never thought in a million years that this would be me. I never thought in a million years that this would be my journey. You always see things on Facebook or you see things like, on whatever social media site that you watch, and you read about these tragedies and all these things that people are going through. And it's like so heartbreaking, right? And I just never imagined this to be my situation, but it is. It is. And there's no escaping it. There's no running from it. There's no pretending like it didn't happen. I mean, this is like every day since the day that it happened, I have been on such a different road. And I do just want to say thank you to all of my friends and all of my family for being there for me. The phone calls, the texts, the cards, the hugs, the conversations, the laughter, the moments. It's all really great. But I'm already crying. But I just wanted to tell you guys that, whatever type of grief you're going through, whatever type of trauma, whether it's, somebody passed or, there's a big change in your life that's causing trauma, a divorce, a change in a job, whatever it is, just know that you have to keep going. You have to put one foot in front of the other. And I just wanted to kind of share with you, right? Let me get to the good stuff. I wanted to kind of share with you, what I'm doing to get through, how I'm doing this. I'm sure people see me and they're probably like, she's smiling. Why is she smiling? She's wearing big earrings. Why is she wearing big earrings? like I feel like I'm rediscovering myself again. I'm rediscovering what makes me happy, what makes me, smile. So here goes. Let me tell you. I'm definitely turning on music. I'm putting on like my favorite songs, and I'm like dancing any chance I can. I mean, he used to dance. We used to love to dance together. We were always having dance parties. We were always being crazy. I am in therapy, right? I have a wonderful therapist who is, guiding me and educating me and, not even really educating. She's just phenomenal. She's helping me on my journey. She's helping me kind of like redirect, some paths that I'm going down, if it's not like a positive one. She's phenomenal. So I'm in therapy. Dancing, like I just said, we love to dance. My kids love to dance. We get out a lot of like crazy energy like that. You guys see my my cooking. I've always loved to cook. I think cooking is important, like I always say. And I love to cook. I think it's great. I think it's something that makes me tick. So that's what I'm doing. I'm showing you guys how to cook because I want everybody to know it's easy and simple and it doesn't have to be complicated. And I'm definitely laughing. I'm laughing as much as I can. Believe me, you will laugh again. You will smile again. When something's really funny, just like that Sex and the City episode, when she like has the whole thing where Big doesn't, go to the altar when they're trying to get married and he stands her up. And she's on the vacation. She took her honeymoon with her friends and, I don't know, she was like asking, I think Miranda, like, am I ever going to laugh again? And then they're like, yeah, when something's really, really funny. So yeah, you will laugh again. So I'm trying to laugh a lot. When it was warm, I was definitely going outside a ton. I was going on walks. I'm hanging out with friends. I have some new friends that I'm, one in particular that has really helped me. She's instrumental, and just being here for me. Actually, more than one new friend. They're all just off the chain. And asking for help. I've always been a very headstrong person. Like, I can handle it. I can do it. I can conquer this. I'm going to show everybody that I can do it. And I still have that in me, but definitely asking for help, I have been doing. And that's hard. For some reason, that's hard. It's like hard to ask for help sometimes. Like, I don't know if it's pride. I'm not sure, but I've been asking for help and that's helpful. Eating healthy, drinking water, these things are, really important too, because you can't just stop eating. You can't just, stop drinking water. Like, I have kids to take care of. It's my background. Like, this stuff has to keep going because all of it matters, like your gut and your brain and, that axis, the gut-brain axis, and just putting in those vitamins and minerals that really, really helps, in times of like sadness or depression. I wouldn't say I'm depressed right now. Definitely no. There's moments where I'm sad, but if you see me walking around, I'm not like I don't look sad. And even doing crazy things like buying coffees. Like I was never really into like buying coffees. I mean, I guess I used to, like in my early 20s. And then I don't know. Now it's fun to buy a coffee. It's fun to get an iced coffee. Like, I don't know, treating yourself is so awesome. I mean, even like, look at these mugs. How awesome is that? He has made everything beautiful in his time. Ecclesiastes 3:11. I'm so obsessed with these mugs. And then look at this one. God is within her, she will not fall. Psalm 46:5. Those things make me happy too, right? Like, I've always been a quote person. I love quotes. And looking at that every day, I feel like when I'm drinking the coffee, I mean, I know this is a coffee cup from home, but like I'm drinking the coffee and I'm thinking of that. And like, I just feel like I'm filling myself with, the message. Taking my supplements. I'm going to get into, on my channel, nutritional supplements and what's, really helpful to take just as like a basic protocol, multivitamins, vitamin D, vitamin C, magnesium, probiotics. You saw me with my greens powder. So yeah, taking my supplements, dressing how I feel, wearing whatever makes me feel good and not caring what people think. Like literally you have one chance. You have one life. And I'm not wasting any more time. And I really don't care what people think. And that's something that I struggled with for a long time. And that's something even he struggled with too. Like we always had all these like crazy ideas about real estate and about, my cooking channel and all this stuff. And I feel like we both kind of cared too much about what people thought. And, after all of this, I'm like, screw it. What do I have to lose? What is stopping you? What's standing in your way? I was standing in my way. That's what it was. So I really don't care what people think. I'm wearing crazy outfits. I'm wearing big earrings. It's freaking great. I'm wearing full-blown makeup. I love it. And it makes me feel really good. And also something too is, like I'm feeling whatever emotion comes to the surface, whether it's anger, whether it's sadness, whether it's heartache. I'm definitely feeling it. I'm not brushing it aside. Of course, I have to, be in front of my kids. I have to be present. I have to smile. We have to laugh. We have to play games. I'm doing all of that. But I'm also feeling, my heartache. Because it's pretty intense at moments. Most days I'm good. But there are certain times that just really like take your breath away. And like I said in one of my Instagram posts, I am loving myself. I have always loved myself, right? I've always had a lot of self-love. But I'm really trying to embrace my gifts and pay attention to what matters to me, what's important to me, and loving myself, treating myself good, because I feel like you have to fall in love with yourself first. And in like, in marriages, you lose yourself sometimes, you stop paying attention to yourself. You're giving so much to your kids. You're giving so much to your husband, if you have kids. But you're just giving. And you have to make sure and like fill your own cup. You have to make sure and like pay attention to you too. Like I remember always seeing these girls, like women, getting their nails done, getting their hair done, and I was just like, I used to be like that. I used to do that stuff, but then I stopped for like the longest time, when I was in, like early motherhood, because it's just sometimes daunting, at times. But I stopped. And then, I started realizing like, those women that are going into those places, they're loving themselves. They are treating themselves. They are making their soul, their heart, their body, they're making themselves feel good. And that is so important. I used to be like jealous. Sometimes I would think like, oh my gosh, they have so much money. They're getting their hair done, getting their nails done. They're going shopping. They're getting facials. They're getting massages. I mean, this stuff is really critical to being, to like self-worth and self-confidence. It's so important. And when you shift your thinking and you tell yourself, when you see those places, salons and, spas, like when you see these types of places, nail salons, whatever, like shift your nasty attitude and your jealous attitude and shift it into, wow, those people love themselves. They're caring for themselves. They're doing what makes them feel really good. And when I can, I'm doing that too. Um, and also, you know, one of the last things is like putting a smile on other people's faces, like making my kids, like seeing my kids happy, making my friends laugh, like being with my friends who are like my sisters. There's not one girl. If I had like all these girls in my kitchen, I would literally kiss every single one of them because they're all so important. They've helped me so much. And just like laughing, you know, like making them laugh. You know, the phone calls, the late night phone calls, the crazy, you know, being moms. It's just so good. So putting a smile on other people's faces, that's helping me, you know, get through. Let me see. This is something crazy. I mean, they say you have to go, you know, through like a year of holidays after, you know, somebody passes, you know, and that first year is like really, really, you know, rough. Like he passed away in June. So it was like I had to get through 4th of July. I had to get through, you know, well, Joseph's birthday, 4th of July, Halloween, Thanksgiving, now Christmas. So I'm at my 6-month mark. And yeah, it's, I'm doing it. I mean, I'm going through it. Thank God for my kids because they're helping me. They're, you know, as much as they're watching me, I'm watching them, you know. I will say this, it's so funny, you know, there's been so many people in the community, whether it's like at the library or whether it's at the pool or, you know, just people that like know me, people that heard about the story. And, you know, these women are sweethearts, all different ages. And they're giving me this advice, you know, about being a widow. And it's like so funny. Some of the things that they say, they'll be like, all right, so, you know, you're going to have to do a lot of pretending, okay? Just get through, keep smiling, do a lot of pretending. And I'm like, oh my gosh, whatever advice is there, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, I take it all, I soak it in, it's amazing. Then other people tell me stories about like, oh, you know, my mom was a widow around your age and you know, then she married a second time and then she became a widow a second time. And I'm like, okay. And then they said, you know, after that, she said, screw it. I'm just going to have a boyfriend. So I don't know. These things are funny. I mean, these people try to help you. It's great. It's really great. The advice, I love it all. But yeah, I don't know if it's, this is just my situation. So things that have been really hard for me to do. Obviously, I'm still in the same house, right? I'm still in the same house that we shared together. I'm raising my kids here. I'm not going anywhere. Things that are hard for me to do, even to this moment, like go into his office, right? You know, all of his stuff is there. I just can't seem to like move any of it yet. You know, because he used to work out of there. He used to work from home. And yeah, going into the garage, he was very handy. So he has a ton of tools. He kept a lot of things for projects that we were working on and projects that he wasn't finished with. Going into the garage is tricky. Obviously, I have to go in there, right, to get to the car, which that's not a problem. But like, if I'm in there for too long, that's like a tough one. That's a tough one. He was very outdoorsy, like I said, very handy. Going into the shed, we have sheds in our backyard with all of his tools and, you know, the mowers and the snow blowers and all of his, like, I don't know, like devices that he used to manage the house with. Walking into the shed, that's rough. Going outside used to be rough, but that's not rough anymore. when things happen with the house, that always, I always think of him because he handled so much and he did so much, and I always had so much respect for him. I never, took him for granted. But like, when you're in a marriage, when you're in like a relationship, like you stay in your lane, I stay in my lane, you handle your stuff, I'm going to handle my stuff. And that's kind of like how it goes, right? I mean, I've heard that from like so many people. It's not just me, so many people, yeah. So many people just stay in their lane and you don't cross. So I'm definitely the man and I'm definitely the woman, right now. So I'm crossing into his lane. So that's been, a big journey too. Something else too is when it first happened, like very first happened, like I'm talking in June, in July, things that were really tricky for me were not having like my phone ring, right? Whoever you're with, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your wife, your husband, they're always talking to you constantly throughout the day, right? Like, when are you coming home? What are we eating? Did you call so-and-so? Did you make this appointment? How's he doing? Let's go here. Let's go there. Are you going to come home yet? Not having the phone ring and not having the phone chime, like for text messages, was like such a big deal. It was like earth-shattering silence. And yes, I had friends and family that were, filling that gap, filling that void. But he used to constantly contact me about nothing sometimes. Like when we first got together, he would sit there and I would be like, why are you calling me every 5 minutes? I'm doing the same thing that I was doing 5 minutes ago. I'm not even answering this right now. But that was always his funny thing that he used to do. So that was a big deal. Just the phone not ringing. Driving was a big deal for me. I mean, I always drove, but he was like, the driver in our family. So just getting behind the wheel for the first time was definitely fierce. I did it. It took me a little bit of time to do it, but I did it. And now, of course, it's like second nature. Eating at a restaurant. The first place that we went was my best friend and then my 2 kids. She came from Korea to stay with me. Actually, she was in Japan. She didn't even make it to Korea when she found out, and she flew back for me. I don't know what I would do without her. But when we ate at a restaurant the first time, it was with her. And it was like very sobering. It was very crazy, very different. Even when I took my kids out for the first time by myself, it was, usually like a table, it was like 4 people. Yeah. And, the 4th chair was empty. So that was pretty interesting also. But I did it. I got through it. His favorite stores, like I said, he was like very handy. Like, so he would go to Home Depot. He would go to Lowe's all the time. Like, those places to him were like Marshalls to me, Home Goods, right? Like, girls like those places. Women like those places. Men tend to do like Home Depot and Lowe's. Those were his places. Going into there was so like, just like somebody smacked me in the face with him. I just kept like searching for him. I kept like going to like the aisles, like where he would go. Yeah, that was a rough one. Now it's okay though. For the most part, it's okay. Doing like adventurous stuff. Like this summer, I did a lot of stuff that, maybe most people do and they don't even think about it. But for me, like taking 2 kids to the pool by myself, like thank God I have an amazing community. Thank God I have wonderful friends, new and old, that were there for me. But taking 2 kids to the pool by myself was a big deal. He used to always tell me like, Molly, you have to make sure, and you know, we have to go together, you know, when you have two kids at the pool. I'm like, yeah, okay. But now it's like, okay, Eddie, what now? So yeah, that was a big thing for me. Doing adventurous stuff, like letting Joseph, like, I don't know, jump off the diving board, go to, you know, I don't even know, these places, these jumping places. That was always a big deal. Like, you know, the kids, it's like these trampoline parks. We used to always like despise them, but you know, doing that without him was such a big deal too. Yeah, I felt like I covered a lot of ground this summer. I played a lot of catch up. You know, and just like something else too is like seeing my kids reach their goals and achieve certain things. Like when Joseph jumped off the diving board at the pool this summer for the first time, it was like, oh my gosh, I was freaking out. And, you know, of course I'm yelling for him and I'm screaming for him, like, you're amazing. This is amazing. I'm so happy you did it. And then, you know, I was looking for him. I was looking for his face. I was looking, you know, just to be like, babe, can you believe it? Like, you know, and I know he's watching. I know he's there in spirit form. I know he's right next to us all the time. I love you. But yeah, like just being like the single mom, like the only person that like, you know, birthed those kids, like he is gone now. So all of their joys and milestones and triumphs and, you know, goals that they're meeting and achieving in school and in life, it's like, you know, they're for me. Yeah. So selfishly, I just, you know, want him there. But he's not. So yeah. So that's pretty much what I have to say about, you know, grief and trauma. That's where I'm at so far. Just know that it does get easier. Maybe not easier. Just know that you get more used to it. I'm more used to the silence. I'm more used to being the only person to turn to. Meeting like in my house, right? Like with my kids, like, okay, if somebody's mad, if somebody's angry, it's like I can't call for backup. It's like I'm the backup. So, yeah. I mean, and we're going to church. We go to church every Sunday. That's been helping me a lot. You know, we chose the church together and, you know, we put them on the path of baptism. And then now Joseph's, you know, communion is coming up. So yeah, I mean, this is just where I'm at right now. And I feel like I'm doing a hell of a job. I know he's still here. I know he's still watching. But like I said, like you just get more used to it as the time goes on. So all I have to say pretty much to finish this up, I know it's like 30 minutes. Just cherish the people that you have. Cherish the, you know, the love that you have, you know, for someone, and don't waste any time. Have fun, go crazy, check on people, love people, stop fighting. Don't worry about the small stuff because honestly, none of it matters. I'm surrounded in a house full of things of his and ours together. And you know, it's just things. It's not going to bring him back. He didn't take any of that to heaven. I can't take any of this to heaven, you know? But what I can do is try to leave Joseph and Henry with, these amazing memories, right, of life and of us. And they do have wonderful, wonderful memories of their father. He was hilarious. He was funny. He was crazy. He he had this obsession with like outer space and aliens. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And he just loved fixing something. He had this brilliant mind. He could take apart anything and put it back together better than it was before. He could build a kitchen from the ground up. He could put a fence in the backyard. He was lightning fast on the computer. He was just, I don't know, something else. Anyway, guys, so that's how I'm doing. That's how things are going. Every day is different. I cherish every day, and I'm trying to make the most of every day. So that's my journey so far with grief and trauma. I think I said enough. I am tough. I am strong. I am human. And I'm going to get through this. I'm going to get through this, and I already am. So thank you to all of you for joining in. Don't worry, I'm still going to cook. Today I just wanted to talk about this because it was on my thoughts. All right, guys, have a good day.